Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. And I can't stress it enough. This is 100% viewer funded. It's all about you. Without you, there is no me. I have big plans for this channel, and for big plans, I need big help. And that's where you come in. Take that hand, stick it all the way up inside of your generosity, and please pull something out for me. Links will be in the description box in the link tree. Now, before I talk about what I wanted to talk about, think about what you think about. I just came from downtown Sacramento. And it needs to be changed from SACRAMENTO to SACKRAMENTO. Because downtown Sacramento is like a filthy, hairy, sweaty, stinky nutsack. It was utterly disgusting. And I saw a very strange image when I was down there. So I'm waiting at a red light to go across an intersection. And on the left side of the street, you have a California Highway Patrol cruiser. And there's some construction going on. You'll see that. Maybe they do that in other states, but here in California, it's not uncommon to see road construction like Caltrans or something, and there'll be a police officer there to make sure people aren't speeding through the construction zone. And I just realized that nowadays Caltrans means something totally different. It's actually a company that stands for California Transportation some shit, but it's Caltrans. But now, hey, trans. You never know. But on the left side, you have the cop and the construction workers. And on the right side of the street, you have a homeless encampment. They have literally pitched a tent. Not that kind of pitch in a tent. Don't be immature. Don't be lewd. But they literally pitched like 5 or 6 tents on the sidewalk. So what if you're walking down the sidewalk? It's not called a side live. It's not called a side camp. It's called a sidewalk because that's where you're supposed to walk. But if the sidewalk is blocked with fucking tents and vagrants, how are you supposed to get around them? Unless you're going to scale the fence of the business that the sidewalk butts up against, you're going to have to step in the roadway. You, a pedestrian who are supposed to be Chevroleting it, are going to have to get in the roadway with cars. Human body versus car. I wonder who comes out victorious. Whose hand are they going to be holding up at the end of that fucking fight? And it was so weird to see law enforcement on one side of the street, and somebody, they might not be breaking a law, but they're clearly doing something fucked up. And there should be a law against living on the street. Yes, I said it. There should be a law against living on the street. You can't be out here homeless. You gotta go somewhere. Because they're not a bunch of kind, polite citizens who are just down on their luck. And if you would just toss a shilling into my cap, sir, I'll do a little song and dance. No, they have mental issues and or drug issues. They're violent and vulgar, and they smell like a sack of microwave dog shit. Often you smell them before you see them. But they're allowed to live their life in filth and squalor on the sidewalk that you pay for, but you're not allowed to walk on it. I don't know. You guys think about that. We'll put that on the back burner while I get into this video, while I get in that ass like a bike with no seat. But that's what I just saw in my state capital, where I pay more state tax than any other state in the union, and I guess that's what they're doing with it. I don't know. It's not going into infrastructure. It's not going into cleaning up the streets. It might be going up somebody's nose, but it's not going into the California that I see. trash all over the fucking highway. It's disgusting. Where does all this trash come from? I'm sure people throw it out of their vehicles, and those people are assholes. But there's also a giant homeless encampment damn near under every single overpass in this state, and they're just not clean citizens. So I'm sure their trash and garbage is contributing to this too, but whatever. But what I wanted to talk about is his sloppiness. Sloppy Joe, the resident / occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He gave a Vietnam veteran who's only a year younger than him, actually not even that, because Sloppy Joe will be 81 in November, already the oldest sitting president ever. But he was there to give the man the Medal of Honor for his heroics in the Vietnam War. And congratulations to that man, and I thank him for his service. But he was there at the Medal of Honor ceremony. He draped the medal around the man's neck. They saluted each other, and then Sloppy Joe left. I don't know if they were ringing a dinner bell on a frequency that only his bell tone could pick up. I don't know if one of his handlers was at the back of the room waving a bundle of 7-year-old hair in the air, releasing the pheromones. I don't know if he could hear somebody scooping chocolate chip ice cream, but Sloppy Joe left. And you guys know a lot about me. I've never been a Secret Service agent, okay? I'll be honest. I've never worked for the Secret Service, but I'm guessing that wasn't the route he was supposed to take to leave the room. He just walked right down the center aisle in the middle of a bunch of people with no one around him. Maybe I'm wrong. But he just left. And the ceremony wasn't done. There was supposed to be a benediction, which is the final prayer. Man, speaking of benediction, there is nothing longer than the benediction prayer at the end of service in a black church when you're a little kid. I've been to white churches. I've been to Mexican churches. Black churches, that's an event. It's a day. You cancel Christmas, all right? It's a day. It's an entire event. And the benediction, you've been sitting there bored out of your mind for hours. You take your seat, then the choir comes in, and they're reading the current events of the church. We got a banquet coming up. Or as our pastor used to say, R.I.P. Reverend Franklin, he used to say banquet. We're having a banquet next weekend. Talk about what's going on, the church building fund that never gets completed. Then the choir, you got the sermon, then you got the benediction. I remember as a kid, I had my head bowed, staring at the floor, and I would look up periodically to look around at all the adults who had their heads bowed, and I couldn't help but think, man, when is this going to be over? Benediction, no bullshit, was like 15, 20 minutes. But anyway, Sloppy Joe was supposed to stick around for the benediction, but I guess he had other pressing matters because he just left. Now, if this is just one time, I don't know. He didn't know. This is his first time as resident of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't know. You could explain it away somehow, but it's not just once, and you know it. You have not too long ago, he walked off the set of a TV show. You go on the TV show. They tease the segment. Up next, we have Sloppy Joe Biden. When you come back from commercial, Sloppy Joe Biden is sitting right there. I've never been on TV, but we know the rhythm of TV, don't we? You come back from commercial break, Sloppy Joe is sitting there. I'm here with Sloppy Joe. You do the interview, and that was Sloppy Joe. Coming up next, we have a funny video for you. A squirrel who water skis, and then they go to commercial. During that commercial, that's called off air. That's when they say, thank you, Sloppy Joe, for coming. We appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Sloppy Joe's team of handlers, headed by Nurse Jill, they walk him off the set to his next verbal stumble, right? His next verbal flub. But that's not what happened. all right, and thank you. And he just gets up and walks off set while they're still filming. The tripping, the falling, the claiming shit that he did that he really didn't do. Yelling, name one! All that shit. You can't explain it away. And I've said this before, we are going to witness the decline of his faculties in real time, live in 1080p. This man's brain is disintegrating. Remember as a kid, you put a piece of cotton candy on your tongue, what happens? The shit just disintegrates from the heat in your mouth. That's what's happening to Sloppy Joe's brain. Man, wouldn't he love to be a piece of cotton candy on a kid's tongue? Anyway, that's what's happening. His brain is melting like a cube of ice on the counter. It is melting. He just left. It's not even over yet. Sir, where are you going? Who knows, man? Who knows? And reading different articles and stuff, some people are taking it as disrespect to the military. I mean, not saying that he doesn't respect the military. Not saying that he hasn't done things to disrespect the military, i.e. allowing Ku Klux Klan members to join and pay for their surgeries so they can toss their dick and tits in the waste bin. Maternity flight suits, all that bullshit. I'm not saying he doesn't disrespect the military on a regular basis, but I'm saying I don't know if this was disrespect. This just could be senility. This could be the ramifications. This could be the lasting effects from having 3 aneurysms and an embolism. People say, and I agree, he's not fit for president. I would argue there's not much he's fit for. Like if you had a bake sale and you needed somebody to run it and Sloppy Joe says, I'll do it for you. I'll sell the cakes. You wouldn't let him do it, would you? Would you let Sloppy Joe run your cash register? Of course not. People be handing him buttons and paper clips and shit instead of money, and he'd take it. Here's your change. Would you let Sloppy Joe run a lemonade stand? No. So he damn sure can't run the greatest country in the world, and he's not. What's next? What's next? You know, Sloppy Joe, the worst thing that we see him do as far as his mind and body just failing him in every way, failing us. I don't think we've seen the worst. I really don't. I've said, and I still believe, that, why you guys tell me I got a bear in the cave? Come on. I still believe that he is going to have a nasty fall. Because he doesn't walk, he shuffles, he barely picks his feet up off the ground. And if you're keeping track, yes, that is one of my pet peeves. When people drag their feet. But anyway, he doesn't walk, he shuffles. Did you see the footage of him on the beach in Delaware on vacation? Jericho, which vacation? I know. The most recent one, when Maui was up in flames. He goes to pull a chair over to him and it's just the saddest, slowest shit you've ever seen in your life. I don't think we've seen the worst. He's going to have a nasty fall like a lot of elderly, senile people do. He's no different. The 80-year-old Vietnam veteran that he was putting the Medal of Honor on looks better than him. That man's been through war, and he looks better than you. You've never been in the private sector. You've never had a callus. You've never put on work gloves. No, none of that. That man's probably done all of the above and looks better than you. Man, I'm out. He just bounced. Oh, and don't forget, Don't forget, his nurse wife, she's infected with the sweet and sour sniffles. Chocolate Patty just got done saying Sloppy Joe is going to wear an N95 mask indoors per the CDC. An hour later, no mask, and he's up in an old person's face. Now, aren't the elderly at the highest risk for contracting the sweet and sour sniffles? He lives with somebody who has it, and he's all up in the old man's grill? What proof? What further proof do you need that this is all bullshit, this is all theater, and this is a power grab? They figured we got away with all that shit last time, so this time it's got to be easier. 3 words. Do not comply, people. I'm just kidding. If Sloppy Joe is saying it, that would be 3 words. 2 words. Made in America. But 3 words, seriously. Do not comply. You remember what happened last time? You're going to let them do that again? You're going to let them do it again? I don't think so. I don't think America is going to do that. I don't think America is that far gone. I still got a little hope. I still have a little hope for us. We better have hope for us. I don't want this to be the end of the American story. The story of America is going to end now like this? Fuck no. Meet me in the comment section. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.